know what the funniest thing about bullshitters are, or is? What the craziest thing about bullshitters is? There's levels to bullshitting, to bullshitters. There's levels to them. Majority of us have been groomed to be a casual bullshitter. And what I mean by that is, it just came, I've been thinking like this, but I just wanted to speak on this right at this point. Like, I noticed that, at least here in America, and I can see that it's like that across the globe, even though I've never been over there, but we see it through the internet, right? But I look at, everybody has been like complacent to whatever system they're under. Like you just okay with it. That's a casual bullshitter. Like you on the phone right now or what have you, listening to me, and you don't, if that phone fuck up or that Wi-Fi fuck up or whatever, you don't have no way to control that. You don't have no way to fix it other than calling another, calling up the ladder of how to fix it, customer service or what have you. But you got to get another phone first. None of us have a phone factory. If you do, shit, you win in life. Like, you ain't a bullshitter. Like, you just like from the food you eat, use that as a perfect example. Every day, unless you got your farm and you got animals and you producing and processing your own, yeah, you're a bullshitter. You're a casual one. Like, it's like, how many of you are entrepreneurs and you got a product, you got something actual, tangible, like you can hand to somebody right now? Like, the pandemic showed you that. Motherfuckers is casual bullshitters, man. And there's levels to it. Like, you could have a millionaire that's a bullshitter. He just on a higher level than you. Like, he complacent to the shit as well. You know how you know you complacent or you a bullshitter? It could be something that's going on and you might oppose it. You might oppose it or be for it, but being that you don't have enough backing, you don't have enough support behind you, you feel like, that's a whim, that's a shot in the dark. I don't even want to have that courage. You don't have that courage to even step out on the whim, speaking on or sounding an alarm or what have you, let alone producing. Yeah, it might be over a bunch of motherfuckers' heads, but I don't give a shit. But yeah, it's definitely, you groomed, I believe you groomed to be a bullshitter here in America. And they're like, hey, if you go against this, or if you try to do that, like, you supposed to be, Like, yeah, you could use your heads, but don't get no wild ideas. Like, be okay with what what we got going. And the thing about a bullshitter, look, we all get a weekend. We all get a weekend. Look at that. We all get a weekend. People are groomed to be like, oh, what you doing this weekend? These are these are the few days that you get to do what you want, I guess. Rest, party, whatever the fuck you choose. You be a whole nother individual. You be a whole nother human being on the weekend. You could do anything you want, but be back to work on Monday. You might choose, most people choose to bullshit it off. Every activity that I just named is bullshitting it off. Resting, actually, I would, debate on that. Yeah, resting that's what's wild, They don't promote that, but that's actually the jewel right there. But at the same time, it's a catch-22 in the system that you in, because the system don't rest. That shit is rolling even when you partying, even when you resting or bullshitting your time away. The system that you under is never at rest. That's what I mean by, most of us is casual bullshitters. There's levels to it. You'll have, entrepreneurs that'll actually hand you a product, something tangible. They could produce something right there before you. Like, it ain't just all talk. That's the biggest part about a bullshitter. That's what most casual bullshitters are. Like, it be all talk. You can even relate this to violence, Bullshitters often talk about what they would have done, should have done, why didn't they, or what have you. And that's common. And you'd be like, damn. Hey, like, if you was in that environment, I just spoke on this the other day, if you was in that environment or in that situation, it's no telling what you want to do or would have done or what have you, because you speaking from a safe place, a distance. You ain't in it. The internet has promoted that type of culture. People just having so much to talk about on a topic that they've never even experienced. Like, that's become popular. Like, like one might say, me even speaking on shit right now, oh, what experience do you have, nigga? And it's like, hey, to each their own. The thing about it is you listening to me, and you know what I mean? This is me speaking on my experience, my take on things. And I'm being super honest and humble about it. Like, that's a big thing as well. Like, we groomed to just mask up and shit. A lot of times you have to, just on survival. Ain't that weird? That's weird as fuck. That's a whole nother topic though. But bullshitters, yeah. One of the main traits of a bullshitter is it's all talk. It just be blowing air. Like I was saying, as far as violence. And oftentimes on the equation of violence, and it could be applied to other shit, but violence most definitely, when you call somebody out on it, like, nigga, that's all talk, 9 times out of 10, they're going to try to prove that wrong. That further shows that they're a bullshitter. Ain't that something? That further shows that they're weak. Because that's all it took for them to jump out the window. You challenging it. Being like, man, you all talk. And then they fuck around and shoot you in the face. That's how that equation normally goes. You living amongst bullshitters, most definitely. You got guns, he got guns, everybody got guns. Like, that really doesn't do shit for you. People are really just on the verge of People say they want to protect or what have you, but really I would beg to differ. It's on the opposition. Somebody that stands on something is about protecting. You bullshitting. Like you know what I mean? Somebody that stands on justice is about those type of traits. So if you really had the weapon, if you really holding a weapon justly, righteous, you standing on shit. A lot of things that you living under, a lot of other precedents that you living under, you would challenge then. But instead, what? You really holding the gun just to do what? What are you doing? What are you holding it for? What are you prizing these shits for? See, it'd be really on the motive of what? Killing. That's it. And like I said in a live recently, most people talk about, doing this or that, but when it really comes down to it, man, you don't got that in you. You ain't battle tested. You a bullshitter. That's what you living around. And then, like I said, they'll try to prove it wrong by killing you. That further proves the point. But yeah, in the analogy that I'm making, like shit, if you holding weapons but don't stand on none, really is that weapon to you, You prizing it. That's corny. So, you know what I mean? That's what how I've always reacted to anybody that talk about how many, weapons they have and this and that. I apply it to that. Like I've always looked at it like that's corny. Because you can easily, anybody can shoot somebody or whatever. Anybody can, hurt someone or what have you. But it's very few that actually do it in standing on something. Not many people are standing on shit. You can see it clear as day. If you're in denial of that, to me, like that's what that is. You in denial of it. People throw out these little slogans, the eye is in the eye of the beholder or shit like that, whatever the fuck they like to say. Like I can't even recite it, but it just be like blowing there. You gotta look at it positively. Like what? Like you trying to like put tell me the sky ain't blue and shit like that. Like stop it, man. Like that's what you doing. Like I ain't saying you gotta be all. See, that's also a trait of a bullshitter as well. Boom, being depressed and doing nothing about it, or having any kind of crimping their style, and doing nothing about it. Any kind of problem come their way, are they solution based? Like you run into mad people that, hey, they gotta get validation from another motherfucker, from another human, just to validate their idea. That's a bullshitter. Like stand on that shit against 100, 1,000. You don't need to go ask this motherfucker if, you think this is like. Because 9 times out of 10, the next motherfucker, he's a bullshitter, so he's going to doubt it. He's going to shoot it down. He's going to pick out, try to pick it apart and pick out all the flaws it has. And really, you on the stage of it's just a thought. You're not even in the tangible stage. Like, you ain't got nothing concrete to hand the motherfucker yet. But they've been picked. That's why it's important to don't tell nobody what the fuck you doing. It's important to don't tell nobody what you doing for that exact reason. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to run into a bullshitter. You're going to run into somebody that's going to try to discourage you from your your idea. They're gonna project. They're gonna. That's what you're gonna run into. You'll have a whole team of them, and the thing about it is, that whole team will run with your shit. Now, if you ask me on that, you're not a bullshitter, so you ain't got to worry about that. Yeah, it's sloppy and that's fucked up that somebody would jack your shit, steal your ideas or what have you. Like I said, that's what you are groomed to be here in America, a bullshitter. And they're like, hey, please don't, you can use your head, but please don't get no wild ideas of trying to rise up, trying to overturn what we got going here. They're like, what we got going here is a well-oiled machine. We don't want none of your bright ideas of trying to build your own resources, build your own institutions. We don't want you to have none of that, man. Don't get no crazy ideas. You could be a bullshitter though. We'll support that. You can sit and think all day and dream all day. That's a whole nother live I'm gonna talk about. What's your fantasy? That's what a lot of these motherfuckers be doing, fantasizing. But it parallels to what I'm saying right now, bullshitters. Most motherfuckers right now, including me, are casual bullshitters. Like, and there's levels to the shit. Like, you just got more money and you'll have more capabilities, I'll say. Probability, yeah. When you speak on percentage, right? Like success rate or what have you. Yeah, But as far as you actually, us distinguishing whether or not you a go-getter and, somebody living in poverty ain't, like, yeah. It's like, nigga, you don't have no factory that produces the car. You don't have this is how I'm going to break this equation down. You don't have no factory that produces the car. You're not linked to that. You're not linked to the gas station that fuels the car. You're not linked to the fuel, factory, how we get the oil or none of that. You're not linked to that. And it just goes up the tier, you can break that down on anything. Like I was speaking about this recently. I said the pandemic showed us this through many different ways, like there was there was scrambles and shit for toilet paper, sanitizer, all kind of shit. Like it was just scrambles, right? Mask, of course, mask. And your average human being, your average motherfucker, what were they thinking? Where can I get a blue mask? Where can I get a black mask? Oh, this sanitizer has aloe vera in it. Like just consumer, you know what I mean? Like your mind was just all consumer. You rarely ran into a motherfucker that was on the producing level. They still a bullshitter, but shit, at least they gonna get paid to do the bullshit. Like, yeah, they don't have a factory that's melting down plastic and forming bottles and slapping labels on shit, but a nigga be like, man, let me get a pallet of sanitizer. There was a lot of people doing that. Let me get a pallet of toilet paper and then busting them down. See what I mean? Like, that's a whole different level, but it's, at least they aspiring, they on the right track. Like, hey, man, I want to run the motherfucker. I want to have the papaya tree to break down the paper and shit. All that. Like, it's, like, that's on a whole nother level. That's when you got to be like, oh, okay. You understand. You understand. you know, most people will, you know, try to debate what I'm saying as far as they'll be like, you know, I ain't got the money, I ain't got this, and you know what I mean? I'll say this. Whenever you forced, like boom, just knowing that should spark in people's soul or minds to want to do for self. Like that means, hey, that comes with the work. Like it ain't about always having the bread for it. Like it just go out on a limb on that, you know. Of course, assess the risk in it. Of course, don't break yourself and what have you. But just knowing that you have that, you know, umption to see things from that angle, go for it. You know what I mean? Because 9 times out of 10, you in a whole bubble, a whole ecosystem, you know, environment of motherfuckers that are bullshitters. These is facts. And there's different levels to it, you know what I'm saying? Just because this nigga got more money or she got more bread or what have you, going on more trips, it's only so many activities a motherfucker is going to do with their bread. So, you know, like I said, bullshitters. Like they'll rather go pay, you know, an airline they money that, you know, they make on their gig or whatever the fuck. They'll pay an airline which they ain't linked to. Kind of like how I just broke it down with the vehicle. They ain't linked to the airline. They ain't linked to the concierge. None of it. The airport. None of it. But you know, they'll probably look down on the lower level bullshitter. You know what I mean? And it's like there's no difference. It's like you consumer based. Like you're not even you're not solution based. You're not like you the type to hold a gun. You the type to hold possessions of prize and weapons and guns and shit. And you ain't standing on nothing. You just going along to get along. You just bullshitting. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.